Oh dear, Justin Trudeau is in Europe. He's having a European tour, like a rock star, to talk about freedom, democracy, and the Western civilization. This guy, who's completely shameless, and his policies until recently still ongoing, his own authoritarianism, that of course is, you could say, softer version of authoritarianism comparing to CCP in Beijing or the Iranian regime in Tehran, absolutely. But if you claim to be the beacon of freedom, free speech, and liberalism in the West, Joe Biden's and Trudeau's and all these guys, it's fascinating how they don't really acknowledge their own shortcomings, they don't apologize, and then they go through these campaigns, publicity stunts. I'm going to show you a couple of clips. One was he was being interviewed here at the press conference about, he was being asked, why? What's the plan when you go to the UK, when you go to Europe? Well, what is this mission? And the whole thing is fake. He's saying, I'm gonna go there to spread democracy and freedom.
And how we tackle the idea that we need to defend democracies better against the kind of misinformation and disinformation that has been part of this war in Ukraine since well before it ever started. At the same time as, of course, we're going to be talking about the things that we're working on together, whether it's economic recovery, inclusive economic growth, or the fight against climate change.
Yeah, green crap and economy and everything else that you just talk about. It's interesting that what he talks about when it comes to Ukraine and and Kremlin and all these issues. There is absolutely a point. Of course, in any conflict, there's propaganda, and I keep talking about it on this channel. Let's be objective. Both sides do propaganda, but he's only talking about one side of the propaganda from the Team Kremlin. But why? Like, you have no leg to stand on to come to Europe to teach people, governments and politicians and media how to not do fake news, especially when it comes to this conflict. But he's been doing a lot of interviews and press conferences over the last couple of days, and he's going to continue to do that on this issue. He's very concerned about the fact that we, in the Western democracy countries, are slowly shifting towards authoritarianism, and it's not his fault.
But about democracies around the world, that we see a bit of a slippage in our democracies. Countries turning towards slightly more authoritarian leaders. Countries allowing increasing misinformation and disinformation to be shared on social media, turning people against the values and the principles of democracies that are so strong.
So, authoritarian measures, are you talking about freezing people's bank accounts, like in Canada? Are you talking about banning free speech at dinner tables, like Nicola Sturgeon's SNP government? Are you talking about checking people's paperwork in the middle of the street randomly, like just Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand? Are you talking about completely shutting down protests with the yellow vests in France under Macron? Is this what you're talking about? Because if it is, then yes, you're absolutely right, and we should be concerned about this shift and slippage towards authoritarianism. The rubbish Justin Bieber with his European rockstar tour. You're not getting anywhere. These are the final days, and people are waking up. And we are here to make sure that people are waking up, because we are the media.